Welcome to the Transformative Principal podcast, where we learn how to be an amazing educational leader. I am your host, Jethro Jones. Are you ready to be a transformative principal? I'm looking for about 10 people who are ready to do what it takes to lead with integrity, find balance, and take your school to the next level. If you're looking to improve your leadership in a measurable way, go to transformativeprincipal.org/mastermind to see if you qualify to join a group of like-minded people who are ready to be the best principals in the country. Welcome to Transformative Principal. I am super excited about this interview with Dana Evans today. She is a fantastic principal up in Fairbanks, Alaska, and you're going to love what we talk about because it involves increasing student choice and giving great opportunities for them. Also, just want to add that if you are interested in moving up to the great state of Alaska, there are many teaching and administrative opportunities that will be opening up, and it's never too early to start networking. So feel free to drop me a line if you're interested, and I'd love to start talking to you about what it's like living up here and in a state that is really doing some amazing things in many different parts of the state. So feel free to drop me a line at transformativeprincipal.org, and then just under the contact page, you can connect with me, or you can hit me up on Twitter at Jethro Jones. Welcome to Transformative Principal. I am very excited to have Dana Evans, the principal of Barnett Magnet School in Fairbanks, Alaska, on the show today. And I met her last year, I think, at the principals conference here in Alaska, and super stellar lady and very excited to have her on. But this last principals conference, I learned a little bit more about her school, and I said, we've got to connect on the podcast because what you're doing is awesome. So Dana, thank you so much for being on the podcast. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Jethro. It's my pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. So one of the cool things about your school is that you do a academics in the morning and explorations in the afternoon. Can you just talk a little bit about your school in general and give us the groundwork for what your school is like?
Absolutely. I'll start just defining it's a kindergarten through 8th grade student base. And we have a full day kindergarten, which is beneficial, and students can stay here all the way up through the end of their middle school years. The school has a morning rigorous 3 hours of uninterrupted core for math and language arts. And then in the afternoon, the students have selected their exploration classes. So they have 3 exploration sections in the afternoon, and those consist of classes that fit into kind of 10 different categories. They could be science or social studies, mathematics, literacy, language and cultures. We have a really intensive Spanish program. Students can start taking Spanish as early as 2nd grade, all the way up through 8th grade. Technology, fine arts, music, physical fitness, and dance. There's an extended learning program. And those are the different strands that the exploration classes fit into. On top of that, the exploration classes are 9 weeks. So every quarter, the students get 3 new explorations in the afternoon. So in the course of 1 year, they will have 12 exploration classes.
Wow. And so like if they're doing Spanish, they'd have different Spanish interactions during that exploration, but they could have Spanish all year long, right?
That's actually, some of the explorations are year-long or some are semester-long. So thank you. Yes, Spanish is a year-long exploration along with band and orchestra. Those are year-long. And we have our technology courses. We've had some game design and some coding classes that are semester-based. Next semester, we are starting a Minecraft exploration that will be a semester-long.
Cool. Very nice. So can you talk a little bit about why your school has gone with this model and what makes it unique that allows it to do that?
Right. So the option for students to have choice certainly enhances student engagement. And the morning core being so compacted, but also being uninterrupted, increases the rigor of those classes. First, second grade, third, fourth grade, those students loop with their teachers. So they're having that same teacher for the core. And so those relationships are stronger, and we all know that relationships are important with student achievement. The personalized learning is just kind of built in when students get to select what they're going to do in the afternoons. It really is beneficial to them. If they're a student that really likes the arts and, maybe kind of struggles academically, they know that they've got that morning, but the afternoon is going to be, something that they really enjoy. So it helps with keeping students engaged in school and coming every day.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating approach to have the morning a solid, uninterrupted core math and ELA. Can you talk a little bit about what kinds of programs and focus you're using there in the morning to help it be successful? And also talk about how long teachers are looping with students. Is that on a 2-year program, or is that all 4 years or 6 years in elementary?
Absolutely. So let's see. The magnet school, kind of a difference between a charter school and a magnet school is that a charter school will have their own curriculum and their own focus. A magnet school still uses the district's curriculum. So we are using the same math curriculum and the same language arts curriculum that's being used throughout Fairbanks. And our science and social studies, we follow all the curriculum guides. But we get to have a magnet, which is our explorations. That's hopefully the draw that brings students and families to the school. So we draw from throughout the entire borough, which Fairbanks is about 60 miles, across the borough. And students get in through a lottery process, and it's a real random drawn. They submit applications, and we host a lottery. And so we do not have transportation. The families are responsible for bringing their students each day and picking them up. We don't have bus service, but we're located right in the heart of Fairbanks, so it's a pretty central location for people. So using that, we have, I think, Envision Math and Go Math for our middle school students, and our language arts follows the district curriculum as well.
Okay. And then how long do the teachers loop with the kids?
Okay, so our kindergarten is a full day kindergarten, and then students will leave kindergarten and advance into first grade, and they will be with that teacher for first and second grade. The afternoon exploration classes are also multi-age, so they're with their first grade teacher in the morning. Afternoons, they could be with first through third grade students in their exploration classes. We have some 4th through 8th grade exploration classes, for example, band and orchestra, Spanish, depending on the child's fluency in Spanish. They may be in advanced Spanish or an intermediate Spanish. And we don't put kindergarten or first graders in with 8th graders for PE or anything physical like that, but all of the exploration classes are also multi-age.
And could the range be enough that they do have first graders with 8th graders in any of those explorations?
Well, we do have our middle schoolers serving as teacher assistants in some of the classes. So, keyboarding, we might have an advanced student in keyboarding that helps with the primary students if they're taking a keyboarding exploration. We have a lot of science classes where the middle schoolers might choose to take a teaching assistant exploration class to help with the little kids with science. And it works really well to have those peer mentors and gives our middle school students a lot of responsibility. Yeah,
I bet. That sounds amazing. And so they can choose that as one of their explorations without any issues about, not getting other things that they may need, because that is just part of the choice that's built in, right? That's correct. Yeah, we have an essentials checklist. So there are, the students do have to fulfill the science and social studies curricular requirements between first and third grade through 4th and 6th grade and in middle school as well. So they may be getting 6th grade content when they're in the 4th grade science exploration. They take it in 4th grade. But we have checklists, and so by the time students get to 8th grade, they've successfully fulfilled the requirements of the district for all the different content areas. Gotcha. So that's a neat way to do that. And then they could load up on science or social studies early if they wanted to, for example, and have more choice time later. Do you allow that as well?
Absolutely. And we have students who do that, or they'll take classes over again. They may have taken something as a fourth grader and want to take it again as a sixth grader, or they may have just really, really liked the class or liked the teacher and want to take it again. We've also had the benefit of being across from Lathrop High School. And so some of our students who have been very advanced in math have gone over and been able to take a high school math class.
Cool. That's really beneficial. It's nice when you can have that flexibility for the students. Do you have issues with kids not making wise choices? How do you influence the choices that they make so they get everything done that they need to?
Right. Well, we work closely with their parents and their families. We send home just like you would in high school or middle school. In a typical high school or middle school, we have a catalog and a registration sheet, and they go through and they pick their first, second, and third choices. The catalog explains that they have to have, so many essentials, and we have a worksheet where they can go and see what they've taken and what they still need to take. So it's pretty well organized, and we don't have a problem with people not taking. I did have an instance where a girl had 2 PE classes, and I figured that out the second week in the quarter. How did you get 2 PE classes? So we made that adjustment, but it doesn't happen much.
Yeah. So the scheduling on that sounds like it could be a real nightmare. It sounds like your teachers are all teaching English language arts and math in the morning and then explorations all afternoon. How do you manage that intense schedule of all those people and all those places?
It really is a puzzle. And whenever we have an early out or anything that we have to schedule around, there's always kind of a domino effect. Any little change that happens, because it's such a complex system and it runs so well as long as each little gear is mashing up with the other one. So we have a program secretary. So there are 416 students in the school, and we have about 20 part-time kiddos who they do their homeschool for their core, and then they come here for the explorations. A typical school that size in Fairbanks would have 2 secretaries. We have an additional secretary that does, she's the program secretary, and she does all of the scheduling, and it would be very challenging if we did not have that additional position.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Are you using just a typical student information system like PowerSchool or Skyward to schedule all that, or did you have to do something custom for yourself?
For many years, they had something custom, and so we have now merged into using PowerSchool and PowerScheduler, and that has saved a lot of time.
Yeah, I believe it. With the teachers that are doing explorations, how do they decide what they teach? Because they may not be endorsed in a specific area, but may be the best person to teach that. How do you deal with those issues?
So we are, I was very excited to hear in ESSA, in the new law, we are not going to have the highly qualified the way we have in the past, because highly qualified has been a challenge for me in hiring. I try to hire teachers with multiple highly qualified areas, and teachers here have gone and taken praxis in multiple areas. The previous law, for example, my teachers who taught, I have a teacher who teaches math, middle school math in the morning. She teaches 7th grade math, 8th grade math, and Algebra 1. And then in the afternoon, she teaches 1st and 2nd grader science. So you're looking at a really neat, unique skill set of the staff here, and they have to be flexible enough and want to do that. And I have another teacher who teaches middle school literature all morning, and she teaches the primary Spanish classes in the afternoon. But they have had to go and take praxis in their various areas so that they were highly qualified. And if we had more flexibility there, it would be a little easier. But for the most part, we do a Google Doc of the classes. Their classes are kind of on a 2-year rotating cycle. So there's over 200 explorations in the main catalog, and we rotate those every 2 years or so. And teachers kind of know what they've done in the past, and we might like we just invented this Minecraft. We learned about this new Minecraft education website and got approval from the school district, and we're going to do a new exploration in that area because that's what our demands seem to be for a class like that. But everyone just kind of works together and figures out. Every now and then a teacher will get something that they're not real comfortable with, but they are lifelong learners and they step up to the occasion.
Yeah, that is definitely what teachers are. That's awesome. One of the other concerns that I've thought about would be, how do you deal with prep periods and preparatory time and things like that typically need to be built in? And then when you've got, so I answer that question first, like, how do you deal with prep time?
Right. So they're contractually obligated to have so many minutes per week. In the morning, the half hour, so we start school at 8:15. The doors open at 7:45. So from 7:45 to 8:15, I have students in the gym. If the weather's warm enough, we go outside on the playground, or students have the choice to go into the library. And I use the ELP teacher in there with kids who just want to sit and read and relax in the morning. And then our counselor takes care of the middle school kiddos, and that's her time to kind of meet with them. And then that is a duty-free half-hour prep for teachers in the morning. And so the teachers come at 7:45, kids go into their rooms at 8:15. And it is a very rigorous schedule for teachers because none of my core teachers have any prep time in the morning. They teach all morning. The students eat lunch in their rooms. So from 8:15 till noon, they are with their students. And then the core teachers will teach 2 of the 3 explorations. And the explorations are 55 minutes long. So they will maybe have their prep/lunch from 12 to 12:55 or from 12:55 to 1:50. So they teach 2 of the 3 explorations. And then we have some part-time teachers that come in the afternoon and they teach 3 explorations. So they just work part-time.
Okay. That makes sense. You could give them a little bit. So your PE teachers, for example, are they teaching language arts and math in the morning?
The PE teacher, so the allocation for a school of this size from the district would be 1 FTE for physical education. We don't have PE in the morning, so that full-time allocation for a PE teacher hires a half-time PE teacher and then a half-time Spanish teacher. So that's where we got that allocation for the Spanish teacher. And the same with our general music teacher. She does half-time general music and then a half-time art teacher. So we have a dedicated art professional that teaches too.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. So how are class sizes affected by this? Do you have smaller class sizes in your core areas and then much larger in the explorations, or how does that look?
Right. So our class sizes we're able to keep at the district target through that lottery process. And if an opening comes, if someone moves during the year, we wait till the end of the quarter and we bring in a person off of the wait list. So in the morning, class sizes are anywhere from 20 for kindergarten to 25 up near our older intermediate and middle school. Then in the exploration classes, because we bring in those part-time teachers, the classes actually can be smaller. We try to keep like science and art and some of the hands-on, minds-on classes to like 16. But then our PE classes and orchestra classes, those are quite a bit larger. And
that's probably a good thing to have a large PE class so that you can play team sports, and a large orchestra to have lots of people playing. That certainly makes sense. And to be able to keep those other class sizes down as low as 16, that's pretty remarkable.
It is. It's a real benefit to all involved.
Yeah. Wow. So there's so much fascinating things that I still want to ask. That was a great interview with Dana Evans. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to talk more about her unique schedule and talk about Friday in Fairbanks, which I think is just an awesome idea. So I hope you look forward to listening to that. If you have not shared this with someone, please do share this with one of your other principal friends. Let's help share the wonderful things that other principals are doing around the country. Thank you so much. There's about 150 other episodes that you can go and listen to and learn so much more about the amazing things happening in schools. Once again, I'm Jethro Jones, and you can find me on Twitter at Jethro Jones. Thanks for listening. Transformative Principal is a proud member of the Education Podcast Network. Podcasts for educators by educators. Visit edupodcastnetwork.com for more great podcasts.